America's top generals are being dragged to Virginia in an unprecedented show of force. Pete Hegseth demands their obedience or their careers. Millions spent, commands disrupted, and whispers of mass firing swirl. Is this discipline or a dangerous power play? Something extraordinary is happening at the Pentagon. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has issued orders that have left military commands worldwide scrambling for answers. Hundreds of generals and admirals are being summoned from across the globe to a single location in Virginia next week. The directive is simple but stunning. Every general and admiral of one-star rank or higher must appear at Marine Corps University in Quantico, Virginia on Tuesday. As Politico reports, this includes commanders from distant locations like South Korea, Japan, and across the Middle East. The gathering represents one of the only times such an assembly of senior military leaders has ever been in the same space. One person familiar with ongoing discussions told the Post,
"It's meant to be an eyeball-to-eyeball kind of conversation. He wants to see the generals."
But here's what makes this truly unusual. The entire event is scheduled to last roughly 1 hour. According to multiple officials familiar with the planning, Hegseth plans to deliver what amounts to a short lecture on military standards and his vision of the warrior ethos. The Washington Post reports that some Pentagon officials are questioning the wisdom of launching such a massive gathering on short notice just to hear the Secretary speak for a matter of minutes. One military official told Politico that
Hegseth wants to talk about how everyone needs to row in the same direction or face career consequences.
the message appears clear: conform or face potential repercussions. This comes as Reuters notes that in almost every public speech he gives, Hegseth talks about the warrior ethos and the need for the US military to have a warrior mentality. The timing and secrecy surrounding this meeting have sparked intense speculation within military circles. CNN reports that the gathering is being referred to internally as General SQUID Games, a reference that speaks volumes about the anxiety rippling through the ranks. One source told CNN,
"We have heard theories ranging from a group physical fitness test to receiving a briefing on the state of the Defense Department to a mass firing of officers."
The fear isn't unfounded. This meeting comes in the wake of what the Washington Post describes as HEGSETH'S firing of numerous senior military officers without cause, creating what sources call a culture of fear in the Pentagon. In February, he dismissed Admiral Lisa Franchetti, the Navy's top officer, and General James Slife, the Air Force's second highest officer, without explanation. He also relieved the military's top lawyers. The confusion deepened when two four-star Army commanders, Generals Ronald Clark and Xavier Brunson, appeared in an internal service directory as lieutenant generals, according to three people familiar with the issue. Clark, who oversees US soldiers across the Pacific region, and Brunson, who commands troops in South Korea, both hold positions that observers worry Hegseth will downgrade in prominence. One person familiar with ongoing discussions told Reuters,
I wouldn't be surprised if there was some surprise during the event. We are not letting our guard down.
The secretive nature of the orders has left staff scrambling to make travel arrangements without any stated reason for the gathering. As one defense official bluntly told the Washington Post,
They don't need to talk from Secretary Hegseth on the warrior ethos.
The financial implications of this gathering are staggering. A former defense auditing official estimated the cost of travel alone in the millions of dollars. With about 800 one-star and above senior leaders in the military, roughly half of whom are in command positions, plus their aides and support staff, hundreds of senior military personnel will be flowing into Virginia over the next few days. The former auditing official told the Washington Post.
Spending millions of dollars to jerk the entire military's leadership to a short speech seems wasteful unless it's an emergency.
Sabrina Singh, the former Deputy Press Secretary for Secretary Lloyd Austin, agreed, calling it
a huge waste of taxpayer dollars, money that should be funding critical missions.
The timing adds another layer of concern. The speech is scheduled for September 30th, the last day of the fiscal year. If there's a government shutdown, it could leave key staff stranded in Virginia while military commands across the globe juggle pressing security challenges. These include Russia's war against Ukraine, Israel's renewed offensive in Gaza, new military operations in the Caribbean against drug cartels, and continued threats to US personnel in the Middle East. Senator Tammy Duckworth, an Army veteran from Illinois, planned to send Hegseth a letter raising concerns about the expense and national security risks involved in abruptly summoning so many senior officers. Her office began circulating the letter, seeking support from Democratic colleagues and requesting a Pentagon briefing before the gathering. When retired, Lieutenant General Ben Hodges tweeted that German generals were called to a surprise assembly in Berlin in 1935 and required to swear a personal oath to the Führer. Hegseth responded with characteristic sarcasm on social media.
Cool story, General.
According to the Washington Post, this speech is expected to be the first of 3 short lectures Hegseth will deliver. The second will focus on the defense industrial base, and the third on deterrence, planned for the Reagan National Defense Forum in California in December. What emerges from these reports is a picture of a defense secretary determined to reshape the military in his image, willing to spend millions and disrupt global operations to deliver a message that could have been communicated through existing channels. Whether this represents bold leadership or reckless management may soon become clear when America's top military leaders gather in Quantico next week.